This video is brought to you by Straight Goods News, Canada's alternative online news source. Visit straightgoods.ca.
Hearing from Justin about his outburst and what caused him to do it. What did you think when you heard someone from another party standing up to defend you?
Well, it's pretty frustrating times in the House when it comes to the environment. I mean, the Conservatives change the channel so much. The NDP goes to Washington to try and build a dialogue about clean energy, and they call us traitorous and treasonous. We try and draw attention to what's going on in Durban and about Kyoto, and they attack us for being there but not being there. So it's hard sometimes, not to react to that kind of negativity, to that kind of changing of the channel, because it's about environment. It's about environment.
How would you call the minister?
I'm trying not to buy into those games. I think that today, his comments in the House, he's got to stoop pretty darn low in order to deflect attention from what he's actually saying and not doing. And I'm not going to buy into it. I think it was an honest reaction from him in some ways. I certainly have bit my tongue so hard sometimes it bleeds in that House. I think, he recognized that it wasn't parliamentary. Sometimes, though, the Conservatives and their games do get the better of us, and we react. I think it was an honest reaction. He apologized for it. I just wish that the Conservatives would actually talk about issues and stop with the name calling and these kinds of dirty tricks. It's really shameful.
Rather hear an outburst than people reading pieces of paper?
Well, it's tough. The outbursts get attention, absolutely. It's a bit disappointing that is what gets attention versus this government's complete and total inaction on climate. But we are just people, right? We are MPs, we are members of our community who come here, and sometimes our emotions get the better of us, but we're just people.
Can we change the channel
To fracking? Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? Unparliamentary language. Point of order. Yeah. Absolutely. I think when it comes to fracking, there's a real problem under, the minister has acknowledged under the Environmental Protection Act that the toxic chemicals used in fracking would fall under that act, and we haven't seen any action on regulations that would force companies to disclose what chemicals they actually are pumping into the ground. So we do have a very serious problem with that. We think the government should be acting at the very least on that. We do have other concerns about other pieces of legislation that may be triggered, like Navigable Waters Act or fisheries. So there's a serious lack of information about this process that has been happening for decades. So we would ask that the government take action immediately.
Are you aware of a heavy corporate lobby in favor of fracking?
They're not lobbying me.